As you settle into your bed, take a deep, gentle breath, allowing the calm to begin to wash over you. Feel the soft weight of the covers as they wrap around you, embracing you in comfort and warmth. Let your body soften into the mattress, each part of you sinking deeper into the calm. The world outside is quiet now, just the gentle rustling of the night, as if nature itself is whispering you to rest. With every breath you take, feel yourself letting go of the day, the worries, the thoughts that may be lingering in your mind. They're no longer necessary right now. The night is here to protect you, to surround you with peace. Imagine a soft light, warm and gentle, spreading from the tips of your toes all the way up to your head, relaxing every muscle, every part of you, as though the light is soothing away the tension, leaving only peace in its place. You are safe. You are calm. Let go and allow yourself to drift. Let sleep find you easily, like a soft breeze that sweeps you away to a place where everything is still, where only serenity exists. In this moment, there is nothing to do, nowhere to go. You are here, and that is enough. As your eyes grow heavier, know that the night holds you gently in its embrace. Tomorrow will come in its time, but right now, it's only you and the peaceful, quiet world around you. Rest easy, and let yourself fall into the comfort of sleep, where your dreams can carry you to places of wonder, of lightness, of joy. Sleep well, and know that you are exactly where you need to be, right here, in this moment of perfect stillness. Maya didn't mean to find it. Not on the first day of summer break. Not in the middle of unpacking her backpack while her mom and dad dropped boxes into Grandma's hallway with thuds and puffs of dust. But things like this always happened when she was bored. Trouble tended to crawl out of the walls like a whisper. Do we have to stay here all summer? Maya groaned, brushing a cobweb off her arm as she followed her little brother into the living room. Leo was already building a fortress out of couch cushions and muttering to himself about defense zones. It's only for 3 weeks, not forever, Mom said, tossing her a look that meant play nice. We'll be back before you know it. Grandma June's been looking forward to seeing you both. Maya glanced around. The house smelled like cinnamon and old books. It was the kind of place where the floorboards groaned like they were trying to talk, and the wallpaper peeled off in lazy curls like it was tired of pretending. Where's Grandma? Leo asked, poking his head into the kitchen. In the garden, Dad called from the hallway, lugging one last suitcase. You two be good, okay? And just like that, they were alone. Alone with the house. It took less than 5 minutes before Leo declared he was bored. Wanna play hide and seek? He asked. Sure, Maya said, eyes already darting upward. But let's make it interesting. Loser has to eat a pickle dipped in peanut butter. Leo made a face. You're on. Maya counted to 30 in the kitchen while Leo scrambled off. She knew her brother too well. He always picked the same hiding spots. Behind the curtain, under the table, sometimes under a bed if he was feeling particularly brave. But this time, there was a faint creak above her head. The sound of something old and forgotten shifting. She glanced up. A shadow danced near the ceiling, where a narrow, roped hatch led to the attic. The rope swayed just slightly, as if it had been touched. No way, she thought. Leo wouldn't go up there, would he? Maya grabbed a stool and pulled the rope. With a slow groan, the wooden attic ladder unfolded like a secret. Dust swirled in the air like snow in a sunbeam. She hesitated. The attic had always been off-limits. But curiosity was louder than caution. She climbed. The attic was warm and smelled like mothballs, cedarwood, and mystery. Light sliced through the slats in golden beams. There were boxes labeled with words like memories, old photos, and to never forget. Then she saw it. A chest. Not just any chest, this one had carvings. Deep, swirling patterns. Tiny symbols she didn't recognize. A compass rose on the lid, and it was unlocked. Her hands shook as she lifted the latch. The lid creaked open, and inside, wrapped in faded velvet, was a map. Not a boring map, either. This one was drawn in ink so dark and fine it shimmered. There were mountains shaped like sleeping dragons, rivers that formed perfect spirals, trees drawn with silver leaves, and tiny buildings shaped like mushrooms. In the bottom corner, in the same ink, was a name written in curly letters. Luma. "What's Luma?" she whispered. Something rustled behind her. She turned fast, expecting Leo or maybe even Grandma, but there was no one. Just the wind whispering through a cracked attic window. And something else. Something watching. The tick-tick-tick sound came again, quick and sharp, like something small scurrying across wood. Maya froze. She clutched the map to her chest, heart hammering like a drum in a parade. The attic was still, silent again, almost too silent. Even the wind had stopped playing through the broken window. "Leo," she whispered. Nothing. She glanced around the attic's dusty corners, half expecting her little brother to jump out and yell, "Boo!" But no, he wasn't here. The noise came again, this time closer. Tick, tick, tick. She turned. Slowly. Something was perched on a stack of boxes. It looked like a raccoon. Sort of. But this raccoon wore a tiny leather satchel across its chest and had a gold monocle over one eye. Its fur shimmered faintly, as though touched by moonlight. Its paws were neatly folded, and its eyes sparkled with intelligence? "Oh no," Maya whispered. "I'm dreaming. I have to be dreaming." The raccoon cleared its throat. "You're not dreaming," it said, in perfect English, with the faintest British accent. "And if you'd be so kind, I'd like to have a look at that map." Maya blinked. Twice. "Did you just talk?" "Yes, yes," the raccoon sighed, hopping down with a dramatic flourish. "Humans are always so surprised. I'm Whistle, official guide of the Isle of Luma, protector of secrets, riddler of riddles, and occasional snacker of cinnamon cookies." He paused, sniffing the air. "You wouldn't happen to have any, would you?" Maya stepped back, clutching the map tighter. "What is this place?" "What do you mean, Luma? What do you want with the map?" Whistle's nose twitched. "That map belonged to your grandmother. She was the last person to enter Luma. And it appears, my dear Maya, that you're next." Maya's head spun. She was there? Grandma June? Oh yes, quite the adventurer in her day. She solved the riddle of the mirror tree, tamed the swamp of sighs, and befriended the cloud foxes. Very impressive resume. Whistle sat back on his haunches. But when she left, the doorway between your world and Luma closed. Until now. You found the map, and that means the island is calling again. "But why me?" Maya asked. "I didn't ask for this." Whistle gave her a look. Adventure rarely waits for an invitation. There was a sudden thud from below. "Leo." Maya jolted. "Wait, my brother." Whistle tilted his head. "You'll want to bring him. The magic always prefers siblings, you know. One to guide, one to protect, balance, and all that." Maya tucked the map into her backpack. "If this is real, then show me. Prove it." Whistle grinned. "Follow me." With a flick of his striped tail, he scampered behind a stack of dusty trunks. Maya hesitated, then followed. There, hidden behind a moth-eaten tapestry, was a small wooden door, no taller than her knees. Strange symbols glowed faintly around the edges. Whistle pressed a paw to the door. A light bloomed. Soft, golden, warm like the sunrise. "Only opens once the map is found," he whispered. "And now, we go." Maya didn't know whether to laugh, scream, or run. But deep in her chest, where fear used to live, something else was growing, wonder. And so, she nodded. "Let me get Leo." Leo was hiding behind the living room curtain, as usual. Maya yanked it back with a dramatic flair. "Found you." Leo squeaked and toppled over with a thud. "Hey, no fair, you took forever." She grinned, panting slightly from running down the stairs. "Because I found something. And someone." Leo blinked up at her, brushing his hair from his eyes. "What?" I found a map in the attic. A real one. And, she paused, heart pounding. A talking raccoon. Leo stared. Are you okay? Do you need water? Or like, a nap? I knew you'd say that. So, she said with a triumphant smile, I brought him with me. And just like that, Whistle padded into the room, his satchel bouncing against his side. Hello, he said, bowing slightly. You must be Leo. Bit smaller than I imagined, but no matter. Brave hearts often come in small packages. Leo's mouth dropped open. You're a raccoon. Just very observant, Whistle said with a sniff. Now that we've dispensed with the obvious, shall we get moving? The doorway won't stay open forever. Leo backed up until he bumped into the couch. Maya, that raccoon is talking. I told you, she said, tugging his arm. Come on. There's a secret world upstairs. Grandma went there. We're supposed to go next. Leo's eyes were huge. Grandma June? Our grandma? But she bakes muffins and talks to plants. She also has a magic map and used to tame swamp beasts, apparently, Maya said, dragging him toward the stairs. Whistle was already halfway up. Time is of the essence. The winds in Luma have already started to shift. The attic door was still open. Light pooled from behind the tapestry, that same soft golden shimmer. Leo stood before it, mouth slightly open. That's glowing. Real glowing. Whistle smiled gently. This is the way between. A bridge for the brave. Does it hurt? Leo asked, peering at the shimmering doorway. Only if you try to take your PlayStation with you, Whistle said dryly. Leo looked horrified. We're not going forever, right? Just until the mystery is solved, Maya said, trying to sound braver than she felt. Whistle nodded. It's only as long as you need. No longer, no less. Maya stepped forward first, the map tucked securely in her backpack. As soon as she touched the golden light, it felt like walking into warm fog, thick, tingly, and full of energy. The attic disappeared. Leo grabbed her hand just before he stepped through. Wait, he whispered. What if we can't get back? She squeezed his fingers. Then we make our way forward. When they opened their eyes, they were standing on a mossy path in the middle of a glowing forest. The trees were tall, taller than skyscrapers, and their bark shimmered like silver under soft violet skies. Leaves rustled overhead, but not with wind, with whispers. Voices. Singing. Maya turned in a slow circle. The air smelled like rain and honey. In the distance, a waterfall sparkled midair, suspended without falling. Leo stared at a butterfly the size of his head. Whoa! Welcome, Whistle said softly, to the Whispering Woods. The first gate of Luma. Why's everything whispering? Maya asked, her voice hushed. Because the forest remembers, Whistle said. It sings to those who listen. They walked forward on a path that wound like a serpent through the glowing trees. The forest was alive in a way Earth never was. Colors pulsed with each step, leaves fluttered even without breeze, and the wind hummed like it had a secret to tell. But the deeper they went, the quieter the woods became. Until finally, something stepped onto the path ahead of them. Leo froze. What was that? From the trees stepped a creature, tall and cloaked in shadow. Its eyes were like burning coals, and its antlers tangled with vines. It didn't speak, but its presence filled the forest like thunder. Whistle stepped in front of the children, tail bristling. The warden, he whispered, protector of the first gate. The warden raised a long branch-like arm, and in a voice like cracking stone, said, Only those of true blood may pass. One heart to seek, one soul to guide. Show the mark, or turn aside. Maya blinked. What mark? Whistle turned slowly to her. Check your map. It might reveal itself now. She fumbled for it, unrolling the parchment. This time, something new had appeared. A glowing symbol in the top corner. 2 rings intertwined, one silver, one gold, wrapped around a tree. The warden stepped forward, staring at the symbol. Then he bowed. You may pass, he said, and the forest parted behind him. Maya's heart was racing. She looked at Leo. His hand found hers again, a little tighter this time. Whistle turned to them both. The journey begins here. Beyond the forest lie trials, riddles, and truths. Luma is waking, and not everyone is pleased to see it. The warden stepped aside, his form dissolving into the shadows as the forest path opened before Maya and Leo. For a moment, the air was still, unnervingly quiet, before the hum of whispers returned, faintly vibrating through the trunks of the towering trees. "Let's go," Maya whispered, gripping Leo's hand tighter. "We can do this." Leo nodded, eyes wide. "I'm kind of scared, but also kind of excited." "Yeah, me too," Maya replied, the thrill of the unknown making her heart race. "Just stick with me, okay?" Whistle was already scampering ahead. "This way, my young adventurers. The Grove of Echoes is just ahead, and that's where we'll find your first clue." They followed him, weaving through the thick trees. The light in the forest grew dimmer as they ventured deeper, the leaves turning from silver to a deep, glowing green. Eventually, the path opened up into a wide clearing, a sacred grove surrounded by ancient stone pillars covered in moss. In the center of the grove stood a single tree. It was unlike anything Maya had ever seen. Its trunk was hollow, its bark gleaming like liquid gold. Strange symbols shimmered on the tree's surface, and its branches twisted and curled upward, each one reaching toward the sky like arms stretching to touch the stars. "This is the Grove of Echoes," Whistle said softly, his eyes scanning the branches. "A place of reflection, a place of secrets. The tree here holds memories, echoes of those who've passed through Luma." Maya stepped closer, feeling an odd pull toward the tree. There was something deeply familiar about it, though she couldn't quite place it. As she neared the base, she noticed something strange, a faint glow around the tree's hollow. Is that the map?" she asked, pointing to a shimmering light that seemed to dance inside the trunk. "Yes," Whistle replied. "But it's not just the map, it's your map, Maya. It responds to you." Maya reached out hesitantly. As her fingers brushed the glowing tree, she felt a surge of warmth and energy ripple through her hand, as if the tree was alive, breathing with her. The light pulsed, and then, like a door unlocking, words appeared on the bark of the tree, etched in silver ink. "The island remembers the ones who left, but also those who chose to forget. To seek the truth, you must first ask, who betrayed the heart you protect?" Maya's breath caught in her throat. She read the words again. "Who betrayed the heart you protect?" she whispered. "What does it mean?" Leo asked, his voice full of confusion. "I don't know," Maya said softly. "But I think it's about Grandma." The glow from the tree pulsed again, and Maya felt a strange pull, an image flashing in her mind. A younger Grandma June, standing before this very tree, looking troubled. She was holding something Maya couldn't quite make out, but it was a piece of the map, one she hadn't seen before. The vision flickered, and the name came to her, the betrayer. The vision snapped away, leaving Maya breathless. Her heart pounded. Grandma June, she was here. And someone she trusted turned on her. Whistle sat back, his face serious. "You're beginning to understand. But the island isn't done with you yet, Maya. The map leads to the answers, but only if you're ready to face the truth." Maya stared at the tree, her mind racing. Betrayal? Who could have betrayed Grandma June? And why had she never told anyone about it? "I think we need to find out more," Maya said, determination filling her chest. "Grandma left us a clue here. It's part of the map. But we need to figure out what it all means." "That's the spirit," Whistle said, puffing out his chest. "And don't forget, Maya, you're not alone. Leo's here to help too." Leo gulped but nodded. "I'll be brave. I'll be like a knight protecting the kingdom." "Good," Maya said, her voice stronger now. "Let's keep going." As they stood in the grove, taking in the strange energy of the tree, a soft wind began to pick up, swirling around them. The air shifted, and suddenly, the ground beneath the tree began to tremble. The stone pillars around the clearing began to hum with power, glowing brighter as the wind grew stronger. Then, with a loud crack, the ground split open. Maya gasped, stepping back as a narrow, glowing path emerged from the earth, leading deeper into the heart of the island. This wasn't here before, Whistle said, his eyes wide. It's the path of forgotten truths. Only those who are ready to face the deepest secrets can walk it. Maya hesitated, then looked down at Leo. He was gripping her hand tightly, his face pale but determined. "We have to do this," Maya said. "We have to find out what Grandma June was trying to protect. We have to understand what happened." Leo nodded, though his eyes were wide with fear. "Together," he said. Maya nodded and stepped onto the glowing path. The path twisted and curled before them, its glow intensifying with every step. The air grew heavier, filled with a strange, magnetic hum that seemed to pull Maya forward as though the island itself was guiding them. The trees on either side of the path were no longer whispering. Instead, they stood in complete silence, their branches swaying in a slow, deliberate rhythm, as though they were watching and waiting. Leo tugged at Maya's sleeve. "Maya, I don't know if I can do this." She squeezed his hand reassuringly. "We're doing this together, Leo. I promise." Ahead, the path seemed to fade into a soft mist that rolled in from the distance, obscuring whatever lay beyond. The ground beneath their feet shifted from soft moss to ancient stone, worn smooth by centuries of footsteps. The air smelled of damp earth and something older, more ancient. "Where are we going?" Leo whispered. "To find the truth," Maya said, her voice steady, though her heart was racing. "Whatever Grandma June left behind, we need to uncover it." As they approached the mist, a towering structure began to materialize from the fog. It was an ancient temple, its spires stretching high into the sky, adorned with symbols that flickered with a faint, golden light. The stone walls were covered in creeping vines, and the entrance loomed before them like a mouth opening wide. "This is the Temple of Time," Whistle said, his voice hushed with awe. "It's a place of great power, where the past, present, and future all intertwine. Time moves differently here. Be careful." "What do you mean, time moves differently?" Maya asked, her curiosity piqued. "You'll see soon enough," Whistle replied cryptically. "This temple is where the answers lie, but not all truths are easy to face." Maya felt a shiver crawl down her spine. She wasn't sure what to expect, but she was certain they were about to learn something that would change everything. The temple's door was wide open, a dark archway that seemed to draw them in like a magnet. Maya hesitated but stepped forward, feeling the strange pull of the place. As she crossed the threshold, a sudden change swept over her. The air inside was cool and still, almost too still. The walls were lined with intricate carvings, each one depicting scenes of ancient beings, figures with glowing eyes, creatures with wings made of light, and swirling patterns that seemed to shift when she wasn't looking directly at them. "Maya," Leo whispered, his voice trembling. "I don't like this place. It feels wrong." Maya looked at him, her brow furrowed. "I know, but we have to keep going." Whistle scampered ahead, leading them down a winding corridor that stretched into the heart of the temple. The path was dimly lit by glowing orbs that hovered in the air like fireflies, casting an eerie glow on the stone floor. As they walked, the air seemed to thicken, and Maya could hear faint murmurs, voices, distant and indecipherable, echoing through the halls. Suddenly, they reached a large chamber. At the center stood an enormous, circular pool of water, its surface perfectly still. The water shimmered with an otherworldly light, reflecting the ceiling above, which was covered in strange, ancient constellations. "The pool of reflections," Whistle said. "It said that this pool shows not just your past, but your future as well. Those who seek truth must look into it." Maya felt an uneasy tug in her chest. "What do we do?" Whistle's eyes flickered to the pool, then back to her. "You must each look into it. Only then will the temple reveal what you seek." Maya hesitated, then stepped forward, her reflection rippling as she gazed into the pool. For a moment, the surface of the water was calm, but then it began to swirl, and images appeared, glimpses of places, people, and moments she didn't recognize. She saw herself, standing in the attic of Grandma June's house, holding the very map she had found. But the map was different. There was a strange, glowing symbol on it, one that hadn't appeared before. The scene shifted, and she saw Grandma June, younger and more vibrant, standing at the edge of the same temple. Her face was grim, her eyes shadowed by something Maya couldn't quite understand. Then, another image flashed, a person Maya didn't know, a tall figure cloaked in shadows, their face obscured. The figure held the same symbol she had seen on the map, but it was burning, like it was alive. Maya gasped, pulling back from the pool. What was that? Who was that? I don't know, Whistle said quietly. But I do know that figure is tied to the betrayal you saw earlier. That is the one who turned against your grandmother. Maya felt a chill settle in her bones. But who are they? Why would they do that to Grandma? Whistle didn't answer. Instead, he turned his gaze toward the far side of the temple, where a massive door stood. It was intricately carved with symbols and glowing runes. The door seemed to pulse with power, as though it were alive, waiting. That door leads to the heart of the temple, Whistle said, his voice soft. And behind it lies the truth about your grandmother's past. But be warned, what you find may change everything. Maya and Leo approached the door, their footsteps echoing in the stillness. The closer they got, the more the air seemed to hum with energy, as though something was building in the temple, preparing for something to happen. Maya took a deep breath and placed her hand on the door. It was warm, alive, and as soon as she touched it, the door began to shift, its carvings glowing brighter. Slowly, it creaked open, revealing a hidden chamber bathed in a soft, ethereal light. In the center of the chamber was a pedestal, and on it rested an object wrapped in cloth. Maya stepped forward, her heart pounding. She could feel the weight of history, the gravity of everything that had led them here, pressing down on her. With trembling hands, she unwrapped the cloth. It was a journal that belonged to Grandma June. The cover was old, weathered by time, but the pages inside were filled with neat handwriting. As Maya flipped through, she found a page near the back that caught her attention. It was a letter written to someone. I cannot trust them any longer. The betrayal is too great. They have taken the map, and they will use it against us. I fear what they will do with it. The truth must be protected, no matter the cost. If you are reading this, know that I have hidden the key to the next step in a place only you will understand. Maya's heart raced as she read the words. The letter was dated the year Grandma June had disappeared, before Maya was born. Who could she have trusted? Maya whispered, her voice shaky. Whistle's eyes narrowed. That journal is the key, Maya. It holds the answers. But it also holds the name of the betrayer, the one who has been pulling the strings behind the scenes. As she read the final lines, the truth became clear. The betrayer was someone she knew. Maya's hands shook as she held Grandma June's journal, the weight of the truth beginning to settle in. The betrayer was someone she knew, someone close to her, someone she had trusted her entire life. She read the final line again. The betrayer is one who walks among us. They've always been closer than you think. Leo looked at her, his eyes wide with confusion. Maya, what does it mean? Who is it? Her breath caught in her throat. Her mind raced, trying to make sense of the words. The betrayer was someone she knew, someone close to her, and the words, closer than you think, echoed in her mind like a warning. There were only a few people she could think of who might fit that description. But none of them made sense. None of them felt right. Not Grandma June's friends, not her parents. But someone was hiding something. Whistle watched her carefully, his tail twitching. The betrayer's identity isn't always clear. Sometimes, it's someone who has always been there, waiting for the right moment to act. You'll need to trust your instincts, Maya. Maya closed the journal with a snap, her mind whirling. It can't be. Can it? She whispered. Without warning, the air around them shifted. The golden light of the temple began to flicker, and the walls trembled with a strange, resonant hum. The ground beneath them rumbled as if the temple itself was coming alive. Whistle's eyes widened. The temple is reacting to the truth. We need to leave now. What's happening? Leo asked, looking around in panic. The temple is revealing its defenses. If we don't get out of here, we might be trapped. Before Maya could ask another question, the ground split open beneath them, and a chasm appeared in the stone. The temple's door slammed shut with a deafening thud, leaving them no way out. "This way!" Whistle cried, scampering toward a narrow side passage. Maya grabbed Leo's hand. "Come on, we have to move." They sprinted down the passageway, their footsteps echoing in the narrow corridor. The walls were lined with ancient carvings, but they barely had time to take it all in. The hum of the temple grew louder, more insistent, and the air was thick with tension. Finally, they reached the end of the corridor, a small, circular chamber that looked like it had been untouched for centuries. In the center of the room stood a pedestal with a glowing crystal resting on top of it. "This is it," Whistle said, panting. "The crystal of truth. If we want to stop the betrayer, we need to activate it." "What does it do?" Maya asked, her voice tight with urgency. "It reveals the truth," Whistle explained. "The crystal has the power to show us the real face of the betrayer. But it's not without cost. It will show you things you may not want to see." Maya hesitated. She had come this far, but was she ready for the full truth? Was she ready to confront the person who had betrayed her grandmother and possibly everyone she loved? But before she could make a decision, the chamber shook once more, and the light from the crystal intensified. "Do it!" Leo cried, his voice trembling. "We don't have a choice." With a determined breath, Maya stepped forward and placed her hand on the crystal. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, the crystal pulsed with light, and a swirling image formed in the air before her. An image of a man she knew all too well. It was Uncle Max. Maya's heart stopped. "No, I can't beat him." But the image continued to form. She saw Uncle Max, her mother's brother, standing in the very same temple. He was holding a piece of the map. No, the map. The same glowing one Grandma June had protected. He was speaking to someone hidden in the shadows. The voice was distorted, but the words were clear. "Once I have the map, I'll control everything. Luma will be mine, and she will never be able to stop me." The vision flickered, and then Grandma June appeared in the image. She was standing outside the temple, looking down at a younger Maya, who was playing in the distance. The vision blurred, but one word was clear. "Max." Maya staggered back from the crystal, her breath ragged. "Uncle Max? He's the betrayer." Whistle nodded gravely. "Yes. He betrayed your grandmother for power. He thought the map would give him control over Luma, over everything she had worked so hard to protect." "But why?" Maya asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "Why would he do that? Why didn't Grandma tell us?" "The map holds great power, Maya," Whistle said. "It has the ability to unlock hidden realms where anything is possible. Your grandmother kept it safe, knowing that the wrong hands could destroy everything." "But why didn't she tell us?" Maya repeated, her eyes filling with tears. "Why didn't she trust us with it?" "Some truths are too dangerous to share," Whistle said gently. "Your grandmother knew that if Max ever found the map, it would put everyone in danger. She kept it hidden, even from her own family." Maya swallowed hard, trying to process everything. "What do we do now?" Whistle looked grim. "Now you must stop him. The betrayer is close, and he will do anything to get what he wants. You've already seen the map's power. You have the knowledge. But you must be prepared. Max is not the only one who desires control over Luma." Maya turned to Leo, who was standing silently by her side. His face was pale, but his eyes were full of determination. "We can do this," he said, his voice steady. "We'll stop him." Maya nodded. "We have to. For Grandma." The crystal's light faded, leaving the chamber cloaked in an eerie silence. Maya stood frozen, her heart heavy with disbelief. Uncle Max, her beloved uncle, was the betrayer. The man who had always seemed like a rock in her life, always there with a joke or a warm hug, was the one who had conspired against Grandma June. "This can't be real," Maya whispered, more to herself than anyone else. "Uncle Max, he betrayed her? All for power?" Whistle nodded gravely. "The map is too powerful, Maya. Max thought that if he had control of it, he could reshape reality itself. He thought he could rule the island and beyond." "I don't understand," Maya said, shaking her head. "Why didn't Grandma June stop him? Why didn't she tell us?" Some betrayals run so deep that they can only be fought in secret, Whistle explained. Your grandmother hid the map, kept it away from Max and everyone else. She protected it even at great cost to herself. She wanted you to find it, not for power, but to keep it safe. Leo stepped forward, his face pale but determined. We have to stop him, right? We can't let him get away with this. Maya turned to him, her eyes filled with resolve. We will. We have to stop him. For Grandma. For Luma. But as she spoke the words, a sudden rush of wind swept through the chamber, rattling the walls and sending a chill down her spine. The ground beneath them trembled once again, this time more violently. The sound of footsteps echoed down the corridor. Maya spun around, instinctively pulling Leo behind her. Whistle's fur bristled. Someone's coming, Whistle hissed. Get ready. The sound of the footsteps grew louder, and from the shadows emerged a figure. A tall, cloaked woman with dark, flowing hair. Her eyes glowed with an inner light, sharp and calculating. She walked toward them with an air of confidence, as though she knew exactly what was happening. I see you've uncovered the truth, the woman said in a smooth, deep voice. Max was never the true threat. Not really. Maya's heart skipped a beat. Who are you? The woman smiled, though her expression was full of mystery. I am someone who has been watching. Someone who has been waiting. My name is Celine. Celine? Maya repeated, her mind racing. Why are you here? What do you want? I'm here to help, Celine said, stepping closer. I know about Max and his plans. And I know what he'll do if you don't stop him. You know about Max? Leo asked, his voice full of suspicion. How do we know we can trust you? Because I'm not your enemy, Celine replied calmly. I know your grandmother's history. I knew her before she disappeared. She and I were allies. In fact, she and I worked together to hide the map in the first place. We knew Max would come for it one day. Maya's mind reeled. You were allies with Grandma June? Yes, Celine said. We were both part of an ancient order, an order that was tasked with protecting the secrets of Luma. Your grandmother and I were the last of the guardians, the protectors of the map and the island. We hid it away, knowing that one day, the truth would need to be revealed to someone worthy. Maya stared at Celine, her mind struggling to piece everything together. So you're saying you knew about all of this? You knew about the betrayer and the map. I did, Celine said. But I didn't know it would be you, Maya. I didn't know you would be the one to uncover the secrets. But now that you have, I'm here to help you stop Max. Maya was still wary, but something in Celine's voice, something in the way she spoke about Grandma June, made her trust her, at least for the moment. Okay, Maya said, her voice steady. We need to stop Max. We can't let him get the map. What do we do? Celine's eyes flickered to the crystal on the pedestal, still glowing faintly. The map is hidden in a place no one can reach without the key. Max may think he has it all figured out, but there's a way to stop him. A way to destroy the power he seeks. And what's that? Leo asked. Celine's expression grew serious. The heart of Luma. It's the source of all the island's power. The map's true purpose is to lead to the heart. But to reach it, you'll need something more than just knowledge. You'll need courage. You'll need to face the truth about what the heart can do, and what it's capable of. Maya's stomach twisted. What do you mean, what it's capable of? The heart has the power to create, Celine said softly, but it can also destroy. It can reshape reality itself. Max thinks he can control it, but he doesn't understand what it would cost him. What it would cost everyone. Whistle's tail flicked nervously. And that's why your grandmother hid it. She knew that the heart could fall into the wrong hands. Max's hands. Maya's heart raced. How do we get to the heart? How do we stop him? The path to the heart lies beneath the island, Celine explained. There's a hidden underground temple, far older than the one you just explored. The entrance is concealed by the forces of nature itself. You'll need the map and the crystal to find it. But be warned, the heart is not a place for the faint of heart. Maya swallowed hard. We have no choice. We have to stop Max before he gets there first. Celine nodded. You must leave now. Time is running out. Max will be making his move soon. If he reaches the heart before you, it will be too late." Maya turned to Leo. His face was determined, despite the fear in his eyes. "We're ready," Maya said, taking a deep breath. "Let's go." Celine nodded and led them toward the exit. The entrance to the underground temple is just ahead. But remember, the path will not be easy. Max will stop at nothing to get what he wants. The air was thick with anticipation as Maya, Leo, and Celine made their way through the dense forest, the path now overgrown with moss and vines that seemed to whisper with the wind. Maya could feel the weight of the world pressing down on her shoulders. Uncle Max, her own uncle, was so close to achieving his goal, and the truth of what he sought was more dangerous than she had ever imagined. "This way," Celine said, her voice cutting through the stillness. She moved with purpose, leading them toward a steep cliffside. The wind had died down, leaving the forest eerily quiet. As they approached, Celine stopped in front of a large stone wall covered in ivy. The stone seemed to pulse with an ancient energy, and Maya couldn't shake the feeling that they were standing on the edge of something enormous. "This is it," Celine said, placing her hand against the stone. "The entrance to the underground temple. But it's not just a door, it's a test. You must prove that you're worthy to enter." Maya looked at the wall. It was smooth and unyielding, covered in dense vines that seemed to resist her every movement. "A test?" she asked, her voice uncertain. "Yes," Celine confirmed, her eyes flicking to the crystal Maya still carried. "The heart of Luma will not reveal itself to anyone who seeks it without understanding what true power is. The entrance is locked by an ancient spell that only those with the right intentions can break." "How do we pass it?" Leo asked, his voice tight with concern. Celine looked at Maya, then at the crystal. "It's simple, but it requires more than just bravery. It requires understanding. You must each face something personal, something that ties you to this island, to your past. Only then will the temple allow you to enter." Maya swallowed hard. "What do you mean? What do we have to do?" "You'll see," Celine said, her tone mysterious. "Place your hand on the wall and concentrate on your deepest fear, your greatest regret. The wall will reveal it. Once you face it, the entrance will open." Maya exchanged a nervous glance with Leo, but they both nodded. They had come this far. They couldn't back out now. Without another word, Maya stepped forward and pressed her palm to the stone. The moment her skin made contact, the air seemed to thrum with energy. The ground beneath her feet shuddered, and a sudden rush of images flooded her mind. Flashes of her past, of Grandma June, of Uncle Max, of the island. But there was something darker, something more personal. She saw herself as a young child, sitting in Grandma June's living room, the map spread out before her. She remembered the warmth of the room, the smell of cinnamon and fresh bread. But then the images shifted. She was standing in the attic, holding the map, but this time it wasn't the map she recognized. It was a different version, one with dark symbols, one that glowed with a sinister light. And then she saw herself, older, standing beside Uncle Max, smiling. But the smile was twisted, cruel. She felt a deep sense of betrayal, of fear. The Uncle Max she had always trusted was no longer the man she had known. He was someone else entirely. The vision faded, and Maya gasped, pulling her hand away from the wall. Her heart pounded in her chest. What was that?" she breathed, her voice shaken. Celine stepped forward, her face unreadable. "You've seen it. The map's power, the temptation it offers. The betrayal is not just a physical one, it's emotional too. Uncle Max's power over you is deep. But you faced it. You've understood it." Maya nodded, her chest tight. She had to keep going. She had to stop Max. "Now, Leo," Celine said, her eyes turning toward him. Leo stepped forward hesitantly, his face pale. He placed his hand on the stone, and the moment his fingers made contact, the ground trembled. Maya held her breath, waiting for the vision to unfold. Leo's vision was different from hers. He was standing in a room, surrounded by shelves filled with ancient books and scrolls. He was looking at something, the map, but the room felt wrong. The walls seemed to close in on him, and the air grew cold. He saw himself reaching for the map, but it was surrounded by shadows, pulling him in. Then, the shadows shifted, revealing a woman, a figure Maya didn't recognize. The woman smiled at Leo, her eyes glowing with an unsettling light. "Who is she?" Leo whispered, his voice breaking as the vision continued. "She's a part of your past," Celine said softly. "A connection you didn't realize was there. Someone from the island's history, someone tied to the power you now seek." The vision faded, leaving Leo standing still, his hand trembling against the stone. "I don't understand. Who was she?" "She's someone you will encounter again," Celine said, her voice darkening. "Someone connected to the heart. Someone who will challenge everything you thought you knew." Maya glanced at Leo, her heart aching for him. "Are you okay?" Leo nodded, though his expression was distant, troubled. "I think so." "Then we're ready," Celine said, stepping back. "The entrance is open." As the words left her lips, the stone wall began to shift. The ivy recoiled as if it had a mind of its own, and the stone parted like a giant door, revealing a narrow staircase that spiraled downward into darkness. Without a word, they entered the stairwell, the flickering light from the crystal casting long shadows on the stone steps. The air grew colder with every step, and Maya felt the weight of the island's secrets pressing down on her. They were close, so close to uncovering the truth and stopping Max. But she knew that whatever lay ahead, it would be more than just a battle for the map. It was a battle for the future of the island, and perhaps even for reality itself. As they descended deeper into the earth, the passage grew narrower, the walls slick with moisture. The air smelled of ancient stone and decay, and the echo of their footsteps was the only sound in the oppressive silence. Finally, they reached the bottom, and the staircase opened into a vast underground chamber. The floor was covered in moss and ancient runes, glowing faintly in the darkness. In the center of the room stood a massive stone altar, its surface carved with symbols that Maya recognized from the map. "This is it," Celine said, her voice low. "The heart of Luma lies beneath us. But before we can reach it, you must face the final trial. Max is already here. He's close." Suddenly, a voice rang out from the darkness. "Maya," Uncle Max called, his voice smooth, almost like a whisper in the wind. "I knew you'd come. I've been waiting for you." The voice echoed through the underground chamber, sending a chill down Maya's spine. She turned toward the darkness, trying to peer through the shadows, but there was no sign of Uncle Max. "Maya," his voice came again, this time closer, filled with a mix of mockery and cold determination. "I knew you would be here. It was only a matter of time before you stumbled into my domain." Leo's grip tightened on Maya's arm. "He's here," he whispered, his voice tense with worry. "I know," Maya said, her voice steady despite the fear rising in her chest. "We need to be ready. We can't let him win." Celine stepped forward, her eyes scanning the darkened room. "Max is not just after the map anymore. He's after the heart of Luma itself. The power it holds is more than anyone should ever control." "We won't let him," Maya said, her heart racing. She took a deep breath, gathering her strength. They had come too far to fail now. The shadows shifted, and suddenly, Uncle Max appeared from the darkness. His face was grim, his eyes sharp and calculating. He wore the same confident smile Maya had always seen, but there was something different now, something darker. "You've made it far, Maya," he said, his voice smooth and almost affectionate. "I'm impressed. But it's too late. The heart is mine." "You won't control it, Max," Maya replied, stepping forward. "You don't understand the cost of the power it holds. Grandma June knew. She knew what it could do." Max chuckled, the sound low and cold. "Your grandmother was a fool. She didn't understand the true potential of the heart. It can reshape reality, Maya. It can give me everything I've ever wanted." "You'll destroy everything," Maya said, her voice firm with conviction. "The heart isn't just a tool for power. It's a force that can unravel everything. You can't control it." Max's eyes flickered with anger, but he quickly masked it with a cold smile. "You still don't get it, do you? You're just a child. The heart is mine, and there's nothing you can do to stop me. Maya stepped forward, her heart pounding. You may have the map, Max, but you don't have the key to unlock the heart's true power. I do. Max's smile faltered for a moment, and Maya could see the flicker of uncertainty in his eyes. What are you talking about? Celine's voice cut through the tension. The heart can only be unlocked by someone who understands its purpose, someone who has the wisdom to wield it without being consumed by it. Maya, you are the one destined to stop him. Max laughed bitterly. You think she is the key? She's nothing. She's just a child who doesn't even understand what she's dealing with. The heart belongs to me. The air in the room seemed to crackle with energy, and Maya felt a deep surge of power, an ancient force stirring beneath the earth. The runes on the stone altar began to glow brighter, and the ground beneath her feet trembled. You're wrong, Max, Maya said, her voice unwavering. The heart doesn't belong to anyone. It's not something to be owned or controlled. It's something to protect, something to understand. Max's expression twisted with fury. Enough of your nonsense. I've waited too long for this moment. It's mine, and I'll do whatever it takes to claim it. With a sudden motion, he raised his hand, and the air around them seemed to warp. A burst of dark energy shot toward Maya, but Leo was quicker. He pushed her aside just in time, and the blast crashed into the stone wall, sending rocks tumbling to the ground. Leo! Maya shouted, panic rising in her chest. Leo staggered to his feet, shaking off the impact. I'm okay. We have to stop him. Celine moved swiftly, her eyes flashing with determination. She raised her hands, and the energy in the room shifted, creating a shield of light around them. You will not have it, Max. Not while we still stand. Max's eyes narrowed, and for the first time, Maya saw a flicker of doubt in his expression. You can't stop me. I have the map. I have the knowledge. I am the one who was meant to wield the heart. The map doesn't give you the right to control the heart, Maya said, her voice steady. The heart isn't a weapon. It's a force of nature. You think you can bend it to your will, but it will destroy you. Max took a step back, his gaze flickering toward the stone altar. The heart of Luma lay there, pulsing with a light that was both beautiful and terrifying. He reached for it, but Celine's voice stopped him. Max, don't, she warned. You don't understand what you're doing. If you touch it, you will lose everything. Max's hand hovered over the heart, his fingers trembling. He seemed torn, the weight of his desire clashing with the truth Celine had just spoken. I must have it. You don't understand what I've sacrificed. Maya stepped forward again, her voice quiet but full of power. I understand, Max. You've sacrificed so much, but you've lost yourself in the process. The power you're seeking, it's not worth the cost. For a moment, the room was silent. The only sound was the hum of the heart's energy, growing louder, pulsing with raw, untamed power. Max's hand dropped to his side, and for a brief moment, he looked at Maya as though he were seeing her for the first time. You're right, he whispered, his voice strained. I've lost my way. But just as quickly, the darkness returned to his eyes. But it's too late now. I will have it. With a snarl, Max lunged toward the altar, but before he could reach it, the ground beneath him cracked open. The very stones seemed to shift and shift, as if the island itself was reacting to his greed. Maya! Leo shouted. Get back. The heart's power, it's too much for him. Max screamed as the energy from the heart surged, wrapping around him like tendrils of light and shadow. His body jerked and twisted, the power overwhelming him, pulling him toward the altar. No, no, he yelled, but his voice was drowned out by the growing roar of energy. Maya and Leo backed away, shielding themselves from the overwhelming force. The room seemed to shake, and the air itself crackled with the power of the heart. And then, with a final, ear-splitting explosion, the heart's light flared brighter than ever before, and the temple fell silent. The world around Maya seemed to stop for a moment, suspended in a heavy silence. The light from the heart of Luma pulsed like a heartbeat, growing weaker as the energy that had engulfed the chamber began to dissipate. The ground beneath her feet was cracked, the stone altar shattered, and the walls of the temple were now barely standing, dust falling from the ceiling in slow, steady drops. Maya turned her eyes toward the center of the room, where the dark energy that had consumed her uncle only moments ago had left no trace. His body was gone, vanished, swallowed up by the power of the heart. She couldn't believe it. Her uncle was gone. The betrayal, the deceit, the chaos he had caused. It had all ended in a flash of unrelenting energy. A force greater than even he had anticipated. But as the silence dragged on, a new kind of fear crept into Maya's chest. The heart of Luma still glowed, but the light was no longer welcoming. It was unsettling, too powerful, too ancient, and too dangerous. It was alive. "We did it," Leo said, his voice shaky. "He's gone." But Maya wasn't so sure. A deep, unsettling feeling gnawed at her, an instinctive knowledge that the battle wasn't over, not by a long shot. Celine stepped forward, her face grave. The heart is more than just a power source, more than something that can be controlled. It's not merely an artifact, it's the very essence of the island's life force. It's connected to everything here. "What do you mean?" Maya asked, her voice tense. "The heart does not simply give power," Celine explained, her eyes fixed on the pulsing core. "It feeds on emotions, on the desires and fears of those who seek it. Max's greed, his hunger for control, it's what destroyed him. But others who seek it for different reasons, could still be drawn to it." Maya frowned. But Max was consumed by it. He's gone. How could anyone else? Celine's eyes darkened. The heart's power is not so easily quenched. The energy that Max unleashed has left a mark on the temple, on this place. It's drawn the attention of something else. Maya felt a chill run down her spine. "What do you mean? Something else?" Before Celine could answer, the ground trembled once again. This time, not from the heart, but from something deeper, something far beneath the temple. The rumbling grew louder, more intense. Maya's heartbeat quickened as she turned toward Leo, his face pale and his eyes wide with fear. "What is that?" Leo gasped. Celine's face was grim as she closed her eyes, listening. "Something's coming. Something that's been waiting for centuries." A low, guttural growl echoed from deep within the earth, and suddenly, the walls of the temple began to shake violently. Dust and debris fell around them as the very foundation of the underground chamber cracked and split. A jagged fissure formed in the stone floor, and from it, a dark, swirling mass of energy began to rise. "Get back!" Celine shouted, her voice sharp with urgency. The heart wasn't meant to be tampered with. It was meant to be protected, not controlled. And now something else is waking. Maya's pulse raced as she stepped back, instinctively pulling Leo toward her. The air around them crackled with energy, as if the entire temple was alive with malevolent force. "Celine, what is that?" Maya asked, her voice rising in panic. "That is the true guardian of the heart," Celine said, her face pale. "The heart does not exist in isolation. It is part of a greater force that protects the island from harm." The moment Max disturbed the balance, the guardian was awakened. The swirling energy before them began to take shape, coalescing into a figure, a dark, shadowy entity whose form shifted and writhed like smoke and light. Its eyes glowed with an unsettling intensity, and Maya felt a wave of pure fear crash over her. The air grew cold, and every part of her being screamed for her to run. But she couldn't. She had to stay. She had to stop whatever this was. "It's coming for us," Leo whispered, his voice filled with terror. The entity's form grew more solid, and its eyes locked onto Maya. She felt its gaze like a weight on her chest, suffocating and heavy. You disturbed the heart," it said, its voice a low, reverberating growl that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. "You have awakened what should never be woken." Maya felt the ground beneath her feet shift as the entity advanced, its presence overpowering. She could barely breathe, the air thick with darkness. "We didn't mean to," Maya managed to say, her voice shaking. "We just wanted to stop Max." The entity's eyes narrowed. Max was never the true threat. You, Maya, are the one who has disturbed the balance. You are the one who has brought chaos to this place. "No!" Maya cried. I didn't. You will pay for your trespass, the entity growled. The heart belongs to no one. It is not a tool for mortals to wield. I will take it back. Before Maya could react, the entity reached out, and a bolt of dark energy shot toward her. She barely managed to raise her hands in defense, but the energy struck her chest, sending her crashing to the ground. Maya! Leo shouted, rushing to her side. Maya struggled to her feet, shaking, her head spinning. She couldn't let this creature defeat them. They had come so far. They had to stop it. I won't let you control the heart, Maya said, her voice shaking but filled with defiance. It's not yours to take. You can't keep it locked away forever. The entity laughed, a sound like wind howling through a dark cavern. You think you can stop me? You are nothing but a child, and the heart is beyond your control. Celine stepped forward, her expression fierce. Maya, listen to me. The heart can't be destroyed, but it can be sealed. It's a force of nature, and it requires balance. The guardian is part of that balance. But you must understand, only someone pure of heart, someone who knows what true power is, can calm it. Maya clenched her fists. And that's me. Celine nodded. It is. You are the key, Maya. Not because of your bloodline, not because of the map, but because of your heart. You've learned the true meaning of the heart. It's not about control or power. It's about understanding and protecting what matters. Maya looked at the swirling entity. She felt the weight of its gaze, but instead of fear, a deep calm settled over her. She had faced her own demons, had learned to understand the cost of power. And now, she understood the heart's true purpose. She stepped forward, the crystal still clutched tightly in her hand, and raised it toward the dark entity. I understand now, Maya said, her voice steady. I understand that power isn't something to take. It's something to protect. The entity's eyes flickered, a moment of hesitation. Maya continued, her voice growing stronger. I won't let you destroy this island. I won't let you take the heart. I'll protect it, I will protect it. With those words, the crystal in her hand pulsed with brilliant light, and the heart responded. The light surged through the room, and the dark entity recoiled, its form beginning to shudder as the balance of power shifted. Maya, Leo whispered, awe in his voice. The swirling energy of the entity began to shrink, to contract, until it was nothing but a whispering shadow at Maya's feet. And then, with one final, piercing cry, it vanished, leaving only silence behind. The silence in the chamber felt suffocating. Maya, Leo, and Celine stood amidst the remnants of the shattered temple, their bodies still tense, their minds reeling from the battle with the dark entity. Maya held the crystal tightly in her hand, the light of the heart flickering within it like a heartbeat, though the danger seemed to have passed, for now. What just happened? Leo breathed, his voice breaking the silence. He glanced nervously around the chamber, as though expecting the entity to reappear. Maya still couldn't quite process it all. One moment, she'd been facing the shadowy guardian of the heart, terrified for her life and the island's future, and the next, the creature had vanished in a flash of light. She could still feel the lingering weight of its dark presence in the air. I think we sealed it, Maya said, her voice shaky but filled with newfound conviction. The heart, it's safe, for now. The entity is gone. Celine stepped forward, her expression grim. Just, for now. But you've only done part of the work, Maya. The heart has been sealed, but that doesn't mean the danger has passed. You've made a powerful enemy. Max? Leo asked, his voice low. Is he really gone? I don't know, Maya said, looking at the altar where Max had stood moments before. He was swallowed up by the heart's energy, but I can't be sure. I don't think this is over yet. I don't think we can ever fully stop it. Celine nodded solemnly. Max sought to control the heart, and in doing so, he triggered a force that cannot be contained. What you face today, Maya, was only the beginning. The heart is not just a relic. It's a living, breathing part of Luma itself. And now you're its guardian. Maya swallowed hard. I never asked for this. I didn't want to be anyone's guardian. Sometimes, Celine said, her voice soft but steady, destiny doesn't give us a choice. A deep silence fell over them once again as the temple's darkened walls seemed to close in. The air was heavy with the weight of everything they had just been through, and though Maya felt an overwhelming sense of relief, she couldn't shake the feeling that something was still amiss. "So, what happens now?" Leo asked, breaking the stillness. "How do we protect the heart from everything?" Celine's gaze shifted to the flickering light of the heart. The heart is not something that can be hidden or controlled. It's a force, a part of Luma that has existed for centuries. It holds the island together, its very life force. But it must remain balanced, never too powerful, never too weak. That is why the Guardians were created. They are meant to protect the heart from those who would seek to exploit it. Maya felt a pang of doubt. "But I don't know if I'm the right person for this. I don't even understand half of what's going on. What if I fail?" Celine placed a hand on Maya's shoulder, her touch surprisingly warm and comforting. "The heart chose you, Maya. It responded to you. You were able to do what none of us could, stop Max and the Guardian. That means you have the strength within you. Trust in that strength." Maya's heart felt heavy. How could she trust herself with something so immense, so powerful? The heart of Luma was not just a relic. It was a force that shaped everything around them. It was more than an artifact. It was a living thing that required protection, and Maya had been thrust into the center of it all. Leo stepped closer to her, his expression understanding. "Hey," he said softly, "we're in this together. You're not alone." Maya gave him a small, appreciative smile. "Thanks, Leo. But what about the rest of the island?" Leo continued, looking around the temple. "If the heart's power has been disturbed, what happens to Luma? What happens to everything that depends on it?" Celine's face grew even more serious. "That's what we must discover now. The heart has always been connected to the island, to the land itself. If the balance has been disturbed, then the island may be changing, and we won't know the full extent of the consequences until we investigate." Maya nodded, the gravity of their mission settling on her shoulders. "So what do we do now?" "We need to go back to the surface," Celine said, turning toward the entrance. "We need to see what's become of Luma. The heart's power may have been sealed for now, but the island is in turmoil. We must understand how the island is responding, and what other forces may now be drawn to it." They made their way back up the narrow stone staircase, climbing through the passage that led to the surface. Maya, Leo, and Celine emerged into the daylight, but what they saw made their hearts stop. The island was different. The air was thick with tension, the sky unusually dark and heavy with clouds, as though the entire atmosphere was weighed down by the lingering energy of the heart. The once vibrant forest that surrounded the temple had withered, the trees gnarled and twisted, their leaves blackened. The ground itself seemed to pulse, as if the island itself were breathing, its life force disrupted. "This isn't right," Maya murmured. "It's like the heart's power is warping everything." Celine's face was tight with concern. The heart's balance is delicate, and when disturbed, the island reacts. We've seen signs of it before, but nothing like this. This is worse. The heart's energy is no longer in sync with the island. If we don't restore that balance soon, it could tear the entire island apart. Leo looked around in horror. "What do we do?" Celine turned to face them. "We need to find the heart of the island, the place where the heart was originally kept safe. It's where the Guardians first established their temple. If we can return the heart to that sacred place and reconnect it with the island's life force, we might be able to restore balance." "And where is this place?" Maya asked, her voice strained. Celine hesitated. "It's not far, but it's dangerous. The forces that have been awakened by Max's actions will be drawn to the heart, and we will have to face them to protect it. Whatever is coming, it's not just the Guardian. There are others who seek the heart's power, and they won't stop until they have it." Maya took a deep breath. "Then let's go. We don't have time to waste." With a final glance toward the corrupted landscape of the island, the three of them set off toward their next challenge, the weight of the island's future resting in their hands. The journey ahead was treacherous. As Maya, Leo, and Celine trudged through the dense, darkened forest that surrounded the ruined temple, the once vibrant landscape had transformed into something alien, something unnatural. The trees that had once thrived with lush green leaves now stood bare, twisted and contorted as though they were recoiling from an unseen force. The ground beneath their feet was uneven, cracking open in places, as if the island itself were struggling to hold itself together. Maya felt the weight of the island's suffering on her shoulders. She could feel it, the pulse of the land, the way the heart's energy had shifted and disturbed everything. The island's very life force seemed fractured, struggling to remain whole, but it wasn't just the land that had been affected. Something in the air felt different, heavier. The sun hung low in the sky, its light barely breaking through the thick clouds overhead. The wind had stopped, leaving an eerie stillness in its wake. Only the occasional rustling of the twisted trees disturbed the silence. "We have to reach the heart of the island," Celine said, her voice soft but determined. She glanced around at the eerie, warped landscape. "But if the energy here continues to unravel, we may not make it in time." Maya nodded, clenching her fists around the crystal that held the heart's power. She could still feel its presence pulsing, warm and steady, but fragile. Every step they took seemed to send ripples through the air, as if the very act of moving was disrupting something deep within the earth. "I never imagined Luma could be like this," Leo murmured, his voice filled with awe and worry. "This place was always so beautiful, so alive." "It's still alive," Maya said softly, "but it's dying. We have to restore the balance before it's too late." As they pressed on, the forest grew darker, and the path before them became increasingly difficult to navigate. The trees seemed to close in on them, their gnarled branches twisting like fingers reaching for the sky. The air grew colder, a chill settling in the bones, making each breath feel heavier. Maya could sense something else now, a creeping darkness moving just beyond the edge of her vision. The feeling of being watched, of something lurking in the shadows, never quite left her. But when she turned her head, there was nothing there, just the twisted forest. And then, in the distance, she saw it. A clearing lay ahead, and in its center stood an ancient stone structure, something even older than the temple they had left behind. A massive, crumbling obelisk stood like a silent sentinel, its surface covered in intricate carvings. Maya could feel the presence of the heart resonating from it, a deep hum that echoed through the air. This was the place, the center of Luma, where the heart had once been protected, where its power had been kept in harmony with the land. "This is it," Celine whispered, stepping forward. "The heart's resting place." But before they could take another step, the ground beneath them shook violently, and a low, bone-chilling growl echoed from the shadows of the forest. Maya froze, her heart hammering in her chest. "Not again," Leo whispered, his eyes wide with fear. From the trees emerged a shadow, a figure that seemed to emerge from the very darkness itself. Tall, its form shrouded in black mist, it glided silently toward them. Its eyes glowed with an unnatural red light, and its movements were fluid, like something both human and monstrous. It was a creature Maya had never seen before, something that defied every natural law. The creature's mouth twisted into a cruel smile, showing sharp, jagged teeth that glinted in the dim light. "So, you think you can restore balance?" It hissed, its voice rasping like nails on stone. "You think the heart can be tamed? You are fools." Maya's breath caught in her throat. "Who are you?" The creature's eyes narrowed as it took another step forward, its presence suffocating. "I am an ancient force, bound to the island's bloodline. I am the one who has waited for centuries to see the heart's power unleashed. You cannot stop me." Celine stepped forward, her eyes blazing with defiance. "You are nothing but a shadow of the past. The heart's true purpose is to protect Luma, not to feed your twisted desires. You will not have it." The creature laughed, a hollow sound that echoed through the clearing. "Do you think your words will stop me, Guardian? You are weak. The heart belongs to me, and nothing will change that." Without warning, the creature lunged, its claws outstretched. Maya barely had time to react. She raised her hands instinctively, and the heart's crystal flared with light, emitting a wave of energy that repelled the creature, sending it skidding backward. But the creature was relentless. Leo grabbed Maya's arm. "We have to keep moving. We can't fight this thing here." Maya nodded, her heart racing. They couldn't afford to lose time. They had to reach the obelisk, the heart's resting place, before this creature tore them apart. "Celine, can you hold it off?" Maya shouted as they began to run toward the stone structure. Celine glanced over her shoulder, her eyes flashing with determination. "Go! I'll buy you time." As they raced toward the ancient obelisk, Maya could feel the ground shaking beneath them again. She looked back once, just in time to see Celine raise her hands toward the creature, a burst of light erupting from her palms. The shadowy figure screeched in agony, but it did not relent. It was fast, its claws swiping through the air, leaving trails of black smoke in their wake. "Almost there," Maya said breathlessly, her feet pounding the earth beneath her. She could feel the heart's energy growing stronger as they neared the obelisk, as though the island itself were pulling them toward it, urging them to complete their mission. They reached the obelisk. Maya held the crystal out in front of her, and the energy within it began to resonate with the carvings on the stone. Slowly, the obelisk began to glow with the same light that radiated from the heart. It pulsed with power, like a heartbeat, strong and steady, as though it were alive. But the shadowy creature wasn't far behind. It was closing in on them, its presence growing more intense, its growls louder, more insistent. "Maya!" Leo cried, panic rising in his voice. "Hurry!" Maya closed her eyes, focusing all her energy on the crystal in her hand. She could feel the heart's power coursing through her entire being, through the very earth beneath her feet. She could feel the land crying out for balance, for restoration. It was up to her to restore what had been lost. The obelisk's light flared brighter, and the creature howled in fury as a surge of energy erupted from the stone, surrounding them with a protective barrier. The creature slammed into it, but the barrier held strong, repelling the dark force. Maya's heart pounded as she held the crystal out, and the light from the obelisk and the crystal began to merge. Slowly, the distortion in the air began to settle, the energy balancing, calming. The heart's power was once again in harmony with the island, its pulse steady and calm. The shadowy creature screamed, its form dissolving into the wind as the energy from the obelisk consumed it, unraveling its very essence. With a final, deafening roar, the creature was gone. The clearing grew still once more, the oppressive air lifting, leaving a peaceful silence in its wake. The clearing was quiet again, but Maya could still feel the aftershocks of the battle in the air. The energy from the obelisk hummed softly, its light fading back into the stone, but the island felt different. Stronger, perhaps, but also fragile, like a piece of glass that had been cracked, yet held together by sheer force of will. Maya let out a long breath, her body trembling from the fight. Leo stood beside her, equally shaken, but both of them seemed to relax now that the immediate threat was over. But Celine was still standing, staring at the obelisk, her face a mixture of awe and concern. "What is it, Celine?" Maya asked, stepping closer to her. Celine turned, her eyes filled with a strange, knowing sadness. "We've done something more than just protect the heart, Maya. We've uncovered something ancient. Something the Guardians didn't fully understand." Maya frowned. "What do you mean?" Celine gestured toward the obelisk. "The heart of Luma has been protected for centuries, but it was never meant to be controlled by any one person. It was meant to be in balance with the island, a part of its life force, feeding it and being fed by it. But something happened, something that's been hidden for so long. The heart isn't just a power source. It's a memory." "A memory?" Leo echoed, confused. "Yes," Celine said, her voice lowering as she walked closer to the glowing stone. "The heart contains the ancient history of Luma, of the island itself. Its true origin is not just about power, but about a promise made by the first Guardians. They didn't just protect it, they sealed something inside it." Maya's heart skipped a beat. "Sealed something?" Celine nodded gravely. "The heart was never meant to be a weapon. It was meant to guard the island from something far more dangerous, a primordial force that, if freed, could destroy Luma entirely." Leo's breath hitched. "And this force was inside the heart?" "Not exactly." Celine's gaze turned distant, as though recalling something long buried. The force I'm speaking of wasn't locked inside the heart. It was locked beneath the island itself, deep in the earth, in the very core of Luma. But the heart's power is what kept it sealed for all these years. If the heart is disturbed, if it's used the way Max tried to use it, it could break the seals and release that force into the world. Maya felt a chill sweep through her. So, this isn't just about protecting the heart. It's about keeping something else from being set free. Yes, Celine said, her voice solemn. And now, with the disturbance Max caused, we are at risk of that very thing happening. The island's life force has already been weakened. If we don't act quickly, the force that lies beneath Luma could rise, and nothing will be able to stop it. Maya's mind raced. This is so much bigger than we thought. The heart wasn't just a relic. It was the island's guardian, its protector, its last line of defense. And Maya, by taking on the role of its guardian, had unwittingly become the island's final hope. But how do we stop it? Leo asked, his voice tight with fear. How do we stop what Max set in motion? Celine turned to look at Maya. You have the power, Maya. You're the key to restoring balance, but it will take more than just sealing the heart again. You need to go deeper, into the island's core, where the seal is. The heart must be placed there, in the very place where it was originally bound. Maya's throat went dry. You mean go down there? Into the depths of the island? Celine nodded. Yes. It's a dangerous path, and no one has gone there for centuries. But if you don't, the force beneath will consume everything. Luma, the heart, and the entire world. Leo stepped forward, his expression fierce. We're with you, Maya. We won't let you do this alone. Maya turned toward him, her heart swelling with gratitude. She'd never felt more connected to her friends than now. They had faced so much together, and there was no turning back. Thank you, Leo, Maya said quietly, her resolve strengthening. Let's do this. The journey to the heart of the island was treacherous. Celine led the way, her experience with the island's ancient paths guiding them deeper and deeper into the earth. They passed through twisting caverns and underground rivers, all the while feeling the island's pulse grow stronger. The deeper they went, the more intense the feeling of unease became. Maya could feel the force beneath the island, as though it were stirring in its sleep, sensing her approach. The ground trembled occasionally, and the air grew thicker, filled with the scent of ancient stone and forgotten memories. After what felt like an eternity, they reached the heart of Luma, the place where the first guardians had sealed the ancient force long ago. Before them stood an enormous stone door, ancient runes etched deep into its surface. The door pulsed with an eerie, dark energy, its surface cracked and glowing with an unnatural light. Maya knew that this was it, the seal that had kept the island safe for centuries. And now, it was her responsibility to unlock it. Are you ready? Celine asked, her voice filled with quiet solemnity. Maya nodded, stepping forward. She held the crystal in her hands, feeling its power surge through her once again. I have to do this. With a steady hand, Maya placed the crystal against the stone door. The runes began to glow, and the stone vibrated, its surface shifting as though the door itself were alive. For a moment, the world seemed to hold its breath. Then, with a resounding crack, the door opened, revealing the core of the island, the source of its power, the very heart of Luma. Inside, the island's true essence lay before them, pulsing with a raw, primal energy. And in the center of it all, the force that had been sealed away for centuries stirred. A shadow, dark and massive, rose from the depths. It was the creature that had sought the heart earlier, but this time, it was more. It was an ancient, malevolent being, born of the very island itself. Its eyes blazed with fury as it recognized Maya, the one who had disturbed its slumber. But Maya was ready. She stepped forward, her crystal glowing brighter than ever before. This ends now, she whispered, her voice filled with determination. The heart surged within her, and with all her strength, she thrust it into the center of the dark force, channeling the island's energy into the heart of the being before her. A deafening roar echoed through the chamber, and the ground shook violently. For a moment, Maya felt as though she were being pulled apart, but then, silence. The force was gone. The energy stabilized, and the island began to heal. Maya, Leo, and Celine stood at the entrance to the chamber, gazing out at the restored island. The air was lighter now, the forest vibrant once again, the trees standing tall and strong. The heart's energy pulsed softly, but it no longer felt fragile. It was balanced. "You did it," Celine said softly, a proud smile on her face. Maya turned to her, her heart still racing but filled with peace. "We did it. Together." Leo grinned, his usual playful nature returning. "I knew we'd save the day. Couldn't have done it without my trusty sidekick here." He nudged Maya. She laughed. "I think we all had our part to play." As they made their way back toward the temple, Maya knew that her journey was far from over. The heart of Luma would always be a part of her now, and the island would remain her responsibility. But for the first time, she felt at peace with that knowledge. The island was safe, and with it, its people. The heart was whole, and the balance had been restored. And as the sun dipped below the horizon, Maya felt that the island had come alive once again, not just in power, but in spirit. The adventure might have ended, but the story of Luma, her story, was just beginning.